Chubsters, looking a bit rough and ready today. Bit more work in the man shed. KFA Safari. Hey Chubsters, welcome back. Ignore the mad man hair. Well, we're on with the KFA Safari kit plane build. It's going slowly, but we are making progress. So there's lots happening all at the same time. I thought I'd let you know what we're doing. So I've started with the fuselage kit, as you probably know, and one of the first jobs on the fuselage kit is to do with floorboarding. You'll see in the last video that I started to do the floorboarding, if that's the right word, the floors for the cockpit where your feet go. And also there's some floorboarding that goes in the luggage bay that's behind the pilot and the co-pilot. And before you can fit the flooring in the luggage bay, you've got to put some angle bracketing, if you like, where the floorboarding sits, and that's made out of aluminium, and it's 12mm by 19mm L-shaped aluminium. And what happens with the kit is you get a long strip of it, and what you have to do is measure yourself and cut out this aluminium L section and shape it out ready to be fitted. And when it's fitted, it's riveted to the actual tubular frame. Right, chubbies. Okay, first issue I've come across is I'm going to be fitting some channels, some aluminium L shaped profile along here. This is it, what do you call it? L shaped, I don't know. I think it's 15, is it by 19 or 12 by 19? I don't know.
Whenever I'm with you, I am alright. There's something about the way you make me feel inside. I'm counting down the days till we fly away, heading to the sun, only you and me. Don't wanna waste another day being stuck here in this place. No, I wanna hold your hand in mine, watch the sunset in your eyes. Baby, I want us to act like we are 22 right now. Just let go, lose control, play songs on the radio too loud. This could be magical.
So what I've done then is I've cut this to the right length. I've had to notch out, what I'm thinking of doing is I've had to notch out here. So you can see this has just been notched out, the same at the other side. I've also put a bit of a, can we see it? Gosh, oh, there it is. A bit of a chamfer on that edge so that we kind of meet up here nice and flush. Same at the other side. Chamfer in there. That one had to be a little bit bigger because that weld, we can get focused. That weld there, you see a bit of a blob. So I had a chamfer around there. Now that sits nice and flush now on that cross member. So that's the front angle for the front luggage board, and I'm thinking I could probably rivet that to here. I'll have a think about that. If not, perhaps maybe P from there across to there. I don't know. I've not quite made my mind up yet just how I'm going to fasten it in. Technically I could even use some resin or something like that, I'm not sure, but I prefer rivets. Rivets allow a bit of movement, you get less fatigue. So they fit for now. I'm going to have a think. I mean, I might even have a tab welded, but there's not much in it. Might be just as well just to maybe put a rivet, one in the middle perhaps, very small, and we'll see what we've got. But for now I'm going to cut the other angles and we'll make a mind up at the end. So I've kind of notched in the second bit. It's a bit more difficult because this comes up at an angle. So you can see here, if this was flush to that, then this wouldn't be perpendicular to the floor. So it's a bit more awkward, but it's kind of notched in. Just holding it in there with a clip, and we need to make sure that this is flush within here. So that's two in. That goes there. Okay. Not sure how I'm going to fasten them yet. As I said, maybe I will go for the rivet in that tubing, but who knows? Let's see. Okay, so number 3 in. Not fastened in, just cut ready to go. And some more to put in the back. Can you believe it? It's freezing in here. Yesterday it was 33 degrees and it was too hot, and I almost gave up. Today it's bloody freezing. Anyway, so here's how we've been getting on. We've been cutting out this angle, and you can see it's cut, kind of just clamped into place. There's one more piece to go, which is going to be in that little corner there. And this is just a dry fit. The idea is we make sure it all fits, and then we will select how we're going to fasten it. I think it's going to be, I've spoke to Stefan from KFA. He says you can rivet to these tubes because they're internal to the aircraft and not structural. So I used some small rivets. I don't know whether any come in the kit, and we'll get some holes in there. I've got some Cletos. I don't know whether I've got any small enough, but I'll have a look. Maybe we can drill and Cleto it into place when we're happy. We will paint. We'll need an etch primer because this is aluminium, and then I'll just be doing it in the satin black. So that's took me all day. Can you believe it? It's taken everybody else about an hour. It took me all day. I did start cutting things with this, but then realised that was pathetic. Went to the Axor in the end. That cut it much quicker. I might start doing a bit more tidying. It's stayed to the place, but it's getting a bit more tidier than it was. I've been trying to sort out all the tools. I've put this board up. I started hanging a few tools on this board, trying to get things cleaned up. Because it's too messy to be building an aeroplane really, but I've been doing a bit of both, a bit of tidying and sorting and a bit of aeroplane. So I like to change the stimulus, as they say. Paints here that came, look, just dumped on the side. Anyway, one more piece, then I'm going in for lunch, well, dinner, tea if you like, and we'll be done. So just a piece between there and there. These tabs, so we've got these tabs, but this tab's okay, same as this one on here. But the tab up here, when you put the angle on, it's too high. It just, that one was, you know, you can see here, just too high. So I couldn't really use that one, and I don't know what this one's going to be like. Possibly the same. If so, I don't know. We'll see how we go. Try and figure that one out. It took me a while to figure that one out. 2 attempts. But first I was trying to sight it in that hole. But in the end I gave up and decided just to rivet to the tubes. Probably a rivet in there. And then probably a rivet in that small cross tube. Well, progress anyway. So I've marked this. Okay, so this is almost done. That one's measured. There's going to be an angle in here. That's for this door to butt up against. And I think similar thing on here as well. I've read the instructions, couldn't quite figure out how they done that, but we might end up going our own route. But I'm just putting this angle in here, and then that's all the angles in. It's measured, and I've just measured with a marker where one of the rivets is going to go. I've just centre, come on, focus, just centre punched that, and we'll be drilling that out. 3.2.
When does your car go into garage?
Don't know, not today.
20th today.
29th, isn't it, or something?
I don't know, you better check.
Yeah.
What?
3.2 millimeters, and then we'll drill it out. We'll find a 3.2 millimeter drill, a sharp one. There is one in here somewhere. Is it that one? Ooh, God, that doesn't look sharp. I'll have a look. So one of the first jobs I had to do was I had to find a 3.3 millimeter drill, because the rivets that are supplied are 3.2 millimeter rivets. So here we go then, rivets, 3.2 by 11 millimeters, floorboard to floorboard angle. In my drill kit I've got 3 millimeters and 4 millimeters and 5 millimeters, etc. So I didn't have a 3.4. But I ordered one. I ordered a dormer drill, which is a high quality drill. So given the amount of money that you have to spend on these things, ooh, somebody loves me. Given the amount of money that you have to spend on these things, you may as well buy a good kit. But, you know, Amazon's your friend. So I bought one of those. I had to cut out the L section. The L section doesn't quite sit as neatly as you think it would do, just on the tubular framework, because there's welds where the horizontal bits of frame meet the vertical, and of course you've got kind of a bit of a dog leg of weld. So I had to shape out the L section so that it sits flat on the tube. If you didn't do that, it kind of sits away from the tubing, and I didn't like that. Once I actually got the sections cut to the right size, I had to carefully measure and drill 3 rivet holes in each of these sections. And to fasten this L section onto the frame, I use Clecos. These are kind of temporary rivets. If you don't know them, you kind of squeeze them, they go in to where the rivets would go, you let go, and it holds them firm. And it's a temporary rivet. So these are Clecos, or skin pins, some people call them. And I've bought some of those, and we fastened the angle plate on with these skin pins. Well, now that's done, there's kind of several things going on all at the same time. There's painting this angle ready to go in, and that needs an etch primer. So aluminium needs an etch primer. I think it's an acid base primer, and the reason behind that is aluminium, you get a flash coating of oxide very, very quickly from aluminium. So if you clean it up, you get a very, very fine coat of oxide. You can find it on your fingers if you rub. You know, your fingers end up dusty and dirty, and the etch primer has to kind of etch into the aluminium so that the paint will bond and hold. So I've used an etch primer. I bought an aluminium etch primer, and I've just started priming each of those sections bit by bit. But before I do that, I've been cleaning each bit up, sanding the aluminium L section, cleaning it then with a little bit of thinners, and spraying it with the etch primer. And I've been doing them one at a time. I've got a spray booth that's behind me somewhere. You might see it. It's the brown paper little cabinet that I've made there, and the spraying is going on at the moment. So there's several jobs going on at the same time while I wait for each coat of paint. And one of the jobs is the control assembly. The control assembly is the stick that controls the elevator and the ailerons. And it's a little bit like Meccano, kind of. Comes with a kit, but you have some bushings, some brass bushings, and you've got to make sure you clean out the inside of the inner tubes for the brass bushings to go in so that they can rotate freely. But most of it's like assembling like Meccano, although there is a little bit of filing and trimming work to go on with some of the metal to make sure that it's running on the bushings and not actually metal rubbing together. When I fit the control assembly as well, the control assembly is fitted with a couple of these puppies, these bush mountings, and the control assembly goes through here. It rotates in these nylon, I believe they are mountings. When you get them, they're kind of a little bit too tight, and if you clamp them together, you'd never move the control assembly. One of the jobs I've got to do is a little bit of flat wheel work just to slightly widen this diameter on these. So this is a control assembly. I show you on the front of the aircraft. See, a bit sunny out here. As you come in, kind of, it's not even dry fitted, just sat there. It's going to go on these two bushings that's supplied with the kit, and there's some cap screws that go through there. At the moment the holes aren't big enough, so I'm assuming those cap screws are going to need reaming out. The vertical part of that pivot, or whatever you call it, that bracket at the front, points to the front of the aircraft. So now obviously the floorboards aren't in. That's one of the jobs that needs to be done, but I haven't painted them yet, and I'm not going to paint them or varnish them or two-pack clear coat them until I've got my spray booth up and running. I don't want bits in the clear coat. So you can see here, that's going to be the control mechanism. But I'm just kind of laying things out just to see where it's all going to go. And I need to double check first that they do need reaming out. I'm assuming they do, but get a bit nervous. Don't like drilling things until I'm 100% sure, but I'll have a look. I've also been doing the flap handle. The flap handle is a handle. It fastens to the frame with a little leather washer between the handle and the frame. The tube for the nut and the bolt, for the bolt to go through, had to be reamed out. That's 8mm, so I've bought an 8mm reamer. According to the instructions, you only need an 8mm reamer. It gives you the suggested tools, 8mm reamer. I don't know whether I'm going to need other sizes yet, but at the moment I've got the 8mm. And you can see I reamed out the hole. I got a little bit of slag in it from the welding process that had gone on, cleaned that out, and managed to fit the nut and the bolt and the leather washer and the hold the flap handle on. So this one's awkward. That's the where the flap handle goes. It needs to be reamed out to 8mm. It's really snaggly just on this leading edge here going in. You can't get the bolt in. So it's a bit of a struggle, and there's not much clearance at all. And the trouble is, if I'm not careful, I could end up making this hole not concentric. So it's very snaggly. I don't know how I'm going to ream that out easily.
am alright. There's something about the way you make me feel inside. I'm counting down the days till we fly away. Heading to the sun, only you and me. Don't wanna waste another day being stuck here in this place. No, I wanna hold your hand in mine, watch the sunset in your eyes. Baby, I want us to act like we are 22 right now. Just let go, lose control, play songs on the radio too loud. This could be magical. Wow, wow. This could be magical. Wow, wow. To escape, and here we are, driving narrow streets in a rusty car, leading to the sea. Think we're getting close. We should take a pic, baby, strike a pose. I remember every day that I spent right here with you. Yeah, you are the one who makes me feel as good as I do. Baby, I want us to act like we are 22 right now. Just let go, lose control, play songs on the radio too loud. This could be magical. Wow, wow. This could be magical.
This is a quick dry fit of the control column. I'm probably going to have to flat wheel these bushes out a little bit more, but and of course the floorboards need to go on here and this goes above it, but that's kind of the mechanism for the control column. So that'll be the elevator control, etc. Here's the flaps, as you know. I put that on earlier. So I just wanted to dry fit things, see how they go. Oh my God, Chubsters. I'm sweltering, 40.3 degrees. So that's basically it. It's the problem is most of it's preparation work. So I haven't got a huge amount of video because it's boring. There's tons of preparation work, you know, preparing things, filing them, cutting the angles, rubbing them down, painting them, and look, you know, that makes boring videos, so I didn't bother doing too much, just little snippets here and there so we can catch up. When we get stuck into some of the more complex stuff, I'll get a little bit more video on that. But anyway, from sunny Lincolnshire in the UK, 40.3 degrees. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up, helps the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button, ding the bell notification, that way you will get notifications next time I produce a new video. And in the meanwhile, thanks for watching, bye for now.